Hi Virgo, and welcome to your October 2019 monthly general reading. I'll be using a new deck. It is called Wildwood Tarot. I'm still getting to know it, so bear with me a little bit. We're going to do your standard 10 card pull for the story this month. And as soon as we've got some cards popping out, we will go ahead and get started. We're starting with the Knight of Stones, the horse. Also, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you enjoy these videos. We also have the Six of Bows, Abundance. We have the Four of Arrows, which is rest. The Forest Lovers. We have the Two of Bows, which is decisions. The Three of Stones, which is creativity. We have the Nine of Stones, which is tradition. And we have number 15, which is the Guardian. We just need two more cards. Okay. We have the seven card, which is the Archer. And the Page of Vessels, which is the Otter. If you can see that. All right, so we've got our 10 cards. I will set this deck aside and use that in case we need clarification for anything. I will also say, before I started shuffling the deck, I did look at the bottom of the deck, and it was, there was a crow there, and it was something to do with, I don't know. I thought, I don't remember the name of the card, but I do remember, it's funny because I went on 2 different walks over the last couple of weeks, and I found a piece of a bee's, like a wasp nest, just a chunk about that big. And then I also found some feathers, which was kind of funny because I was putting on some background sounds and meditating for a bit, and that was like the first thing that I saw when I looked up to choose your deck, and it was the birds and the bees. So it kind of makes me think that there's a relationship situation that is going to be covered here. With the Knight of Stones, I believe stones in this deck are pentacles, and we have it's a horse, which is used for travel, or there's movement there. But also with knights, it's like a kind of like a speedy energy, I want to say. And we can also see the clouds overhead. So it's like overcast, and there's a lot of movement here, which is not necessarily lending itself to clarity or like good traveling weather, but more so almost a rushed energy. We then have the Six of Bows, which is abundance. And I believe this is in fire, so that would be like kind of like wands. And it's interesting because you can't actually see, there are no figures really in this card. It's just like a campfire with an arrangement around it and the smoke going up, but also like a weazened tree. But there's also abundance here, so there's not really anyone observing this abundance, but there is abundance in this space. But it also makes me think of like hearth fire and home and warmth and happiness. We also have the Four of Arrows, which we talked about there, and that you notice the large butterfly rest, but none of these arrows are actually sticking into the person there who's laying on the ground. So the butterfly kind of makes me think of like a peaceful situation. So it's like peaceful rest, but there's also the arrows around, which kind of indicates like, hey, this person was getting shot at from above, but they're just laying on the ground resting, and everything was amiss. So it's almost like it, yes, rest, but it also makes me think of protection. And then in regards to rest, the struggle that the butterfly has gone through going to rest to grow in a new situation. So when and I've seen this a lot on Facebook and Instagram, talking about when butterflies develop through their chrysalis, they dissolve into goo before, and I was talking about this actually last month in someone's video as well. They totally break down and redevelop into a butterfly. So it's like, it's not at all a clear process or something where they might feel secure and know exactly what's happening, but there's change and development coming. And then we have the Forest Lovers, which has the masculine and feminine energy, but it's also interesting because they're the red cord of fate is represented here. And there's a lot of different legends around this, but I really like this one because of the way it's all brought together. But the red cord of fate is like said to be tied, I think it was actually around ankles, where throughout time and space, two people would always be drawn together. In reference to almost like a soulmate situation. But this is also very beautiful because here they have that tied around their hand in the, it made me think of like hand fasting. And it's like there's nobody else here to observe the situation, but there is a lot of love here. Oh, and what I meant to say was with rest and the four bows, that is sorry, not bows, but arrows. That is, I believe, air. And then the two of bows, which goes back to fire, is decision. And you can see it's kind of this wiry old man holding on to these two fiery bows. And like he seems like he's on fire, but he's like backlit by fire. And he's standing on the top of a mountain, and it's like he's alone here, but he's making a decision. So I feel like this is talking about rushing into something. It seems very fruitful, but then taking some time to rest. And this is definitely a love relationship situation. And then having to make a decision about it. But when we come back to rest, I feel like people are there. It may not be you who is rushing into this situation, Virgo, but those around you who are like, look at this situation. It is perfect for you. And you're like taking a minute to think about it, and everybody is like, why are you like laying down on the job? This person is perfect for you, but you need that time to fully investigate the relationship. Just like with the butterfly situation here, the butterfly has to rest before it comes out of the chrysalis, right? It's that incubation period. It's that giving love a chance and not rushing into this relationship just because it seems like everyone else thinks that's what you should do, or because the birds and the bees, I mean, feeling very attracted to a person physically or whatever the case may be. Don't rush into it. Take your time and make that decision. We then have the Three of Stones for creativity. And I like this because it's like a very earthy card. And there's also, it's funny because there's a horse here and there's another animal here. I think like a buffalo or an ibex. It's kind of hard to tell. And then it's like she's leaning on the stone, but she's growing out of the earth. So Virgo, I'm definitely going to say she's very grounded. So get with your earth energy there. Get grounded and approach this situation with creativity, because I mean that's part of the aspect of Mother Earth, is the abundance and productivity. I'm seeing a lot of abundance here. I mean, we literally have the Six of Bows, the abundance card, and then we have the Three of Stones for creativity. So I'm definitely feeling like it's not saying don't enjoy this relationship or don't appreciate this relationship. It's just saying don't let people rush you, because I mean that is part of the enjoyment, is enjoying all the phases and development of the relationship, but it's also use your creativity in this situation. And then we have the Nine of Stones, which is Pentacles and tradition. And it's like a shaman. He's holding a snake in one hand, and he's got, I'm not sure what it is. It almost looks like a necklace, like he has the same thing around his neck here that he's got in his hand here. And he's sitting in front of like a Stonehenge-like place, and it's definitely like ritual, which makes sense because it is the tradition card, but it can also be, and this is interesting, it could also be that through this relationship situation, it maybe you're at different, this can be you at any point in time in a relationship. It could be a new relationship, it could be a long-standing relationship, whatever the case may be. But there's just the two of you in here, like with this commitment to each other, and the decisions that you make together, not with the peanut gallery. And it's I also like this perspective on it. It's the two of you get to have the creativity to make this relationship what you want, regardless of everyone else's tradition. You can make your own traditions. You don't have to live your life to fulfill anyone else's wishes. We also have the Guardian, and I don't think this is like specific to this deck, so I haven't seen this card, but I will tell you what makes me think of. And it's like we've gone from tradition to the Guardian. Tradition speaking about the way that things have always been done, maybe the way that people are encouraging you to do things, and taking the creativity to create your own traditions, but there being the alternate path of the Guardian, which is the way that things have always been done, which maybe seems stale and dated and dead to you. There is still a trail there, but it's kind of blocked off and obstructed, and you don't have to go that way. There is nothing right or wrong in this. It's just that decisions, and you and your partner get to make the decisions together. We then have the Archer, which I think is interesting when you pair that with the Four of Arrows that we have here. And I do really feel like people with the Archer here is the peanut gallery, and it kind of comes up like this, like everyone expecting you to do things the traditional way, the way that they've always done things, or the way that they, like if it's family or church members or whatever the case may be, wanting you to do things the way that they've always done this. You don't owe them anything. Even, I mean, like back down here with the Rest, you're still protected. You take the time that you need to come to the decisions that you need to make. They are your decisions ultimately. We then have the Page of Vessels, which is the Otter. And it's like, it's funny because he's like looking back over here. I would say definitely look at the horse, the butterfly, and the otter for messages, spirit guide messages and things of that nature. But also the otter, like he's looking back, but also like he's on land, but otters are most comfortable in the water. And he's like looking back, but he's like ready to go. And it's like, ultimately, let your feelings be the guide. And the reason I say that is because that's water is emotion, your feelings, and all of that. So, like, dive into that, get comfortable with it, and really explore that. And don't let other people bully you with their pot shots, because you're protected. And ultimately, whatever path you choose, you and your partner, the decision is yours. And just use your creativity and enjoy the journey. And I do see here a lot of this about traditions is definitely pressure to follow traditions, and people just wanting to see you go down the same path that they have gone down in the past. And they want to protect you, but they don't realize that in their effort to protect you, they're totally missing their target here. Like, they're shooting at you, and fortunately they're missing, but it's like they're still shooting at you. And it's still painful for you in this process and in this experience. So Virgo, go follow your guides. Go within, trust yourself, and make the decision with your partner, however you decide to move forward. And take all the time you need, because this isn't even a decision that you have to make right now, or like the decision that you make could be temporary. It could be, hey, let's move in together in 3 months. Let's make this decision together. We can take our time. It doesn't have to be right now. Whatever we decide to do, there's no need to rush into things. There's no need to ascribe to the traditional timetable. It's just a matter of trusting your instincts. I hope this was helpful for you, Virgo, and I will see you next time.